Kirby and the Forgotten Land just came out, and I was thinking, can I beat this game without copy abilities? Even if I get one by accident, then I can't do anything until the copy ability is gone. So that's what I'm gonna do today. And of course, there are major spoilers about Kirby and the Forgotten Land in this video. Like, major spoilers. If you guys enjoyed this video, then press this button because I'm trying to hit 1K this year, and it'll mean a lot to me if you do. Alright, let's get into this. So we start this challenge with Kirby in trouble, as per usual. And then we get stuck in this portal thing, and then we end up on this beach, and then we can finally play the game. And we get into this forest, which is like this tutorial thing. Oh, I learned how to jump. Thanks, Kirby. But then we got out of here, and we got to see this big building. Doesn't mean anything, but it's cool. And as we see, the game just wants us to get a copy ability so badly, but nope, you're not winning this time, game. And then we make it over here to this building, and we got to become a car. And also mouthful mode is allowed in this challenge because they're not really copy abilities. So yeah, and then we do some very concerning driving. But then we made it to this bridge, and we broke down the bridge, and we drive through while this banger song plays. Then we made it to this Waddle Dee town, or some town, I don't know. But then we got to see this rat bastard, literally. And now we have to save him from these crows. I like those designs for the crows, they're cool. Emo crow. And then the very first raid happens, and this part was easy. But now thankfully, I got this mouse. And yeah, I'm just gonna call him Mouse for the entire video. It's my video, so. And then we can finally get to the very first level. Alright, so 1-1 was your very typical first level with your vending machines and your traffic cones. God, Kirby looks, cute. Yeah, sure. But then we got to this area, which is our very first mini boss. And this boss was pretty easy. But then we got to the second area, and I went up to this building, and I found this guy, and then I defeated him with my cone. And then we got the Waddle Dees. 1-2 was next, and I didn't know if I had to get these Waddle Dees, and I was scared about that because some of the Waddle Dees you need copy abilities to save them, and hopefully there are enough Waddle Dees that I don't need copy abilities for. Okay, back to the level. This level was pretty easy to get through, and I became stairs, which is awesome. But then after waddling through the level, I got to the end. 1-3 was kinda hard because there were some enemies that have copy abilities, and I, can't swallow them, and I couldn't swallow these rocks, and I know that's very sad. But then I got chased by this big rock, which was kinda scary, I guess. But then I found another car. I mean, thank God for that. But then I was at the end of the level, just like that. 1-4 was my favorite level by far because it was like a giant mall, which is really cool. And while I was going through this level, I was asking myself some questions. So you're telling me, I know this is destroyed, but you're telling me there are 2 escalators, right? And there's one 4x4 table. And then I got this lollipop, and I didn't know if this counts as a copy ability, so I just stood still and just waited until it was gone. But then I found a map for a burger, which I never found, sadly. And then I found a moving sidewalk, which is the best part of the game, hands down. But then the rest of the level was easy. But then we have 1-5. And in order to beat this game, you need to collect Waddle Dees in the certain world. But thank God I had enough Waddle Dees to get through this world. But that in this level, this was the very first boss of the run. And this boss was a monkey. But this boss was really easy without copy abilities, surprisingly. And yeah, that's it. But then we have 2-1. And this was the very first water level. I know, great. We have water levels in this game. And this level was pretty interesting. Like when Wild Bonkers shows up. And this boss was a little hard. But then we have this circle, which now I can blow enemies, which is pretty funny. But then I finished the level just like that. 2-2 was next, and this one was interesting because there were these like Sims diamonds or something that I had to collect. But then later on the level, I found a conveyor belt. And then after dodging for a little bit, I beat the level. And then we have 1-3, and this level was pretty cool, besides the swan. But this boss was easy, thankfully. But then we have this mouthful, and now Kirby can fly. Well, he can fly before, but okay, Nintendo. But flying in this game is still really fun. But then after that part, I beat the level. 2-4 was wavy, literally, but it was pretty fun going through all of these moving water bits. And I died in a whirlpool, which sucks. But then I was going through this pipe, and I got through this level. But then we have the second boss, which is Wispy Woods, but with a goatee. And this boss was pretty easy at the beginning, but then the second phase was slightly harder. But then I beat this boss. Then we have World 3, and 3-1 was awesome. It was an easy level, but there was a roller coaster, which makes it almost better than the moving sidewalk, but still. And now I had to do this twice because I wanted to save this Waddle Dee, and I saved him, which is cool. But then after a little bit, I got this water form. I don't even know anymore. And after cleaning up the park, I beat this level. 1-2 was pretty fun because I become a car again, and I needed a good time. And thankfully, I got a good time on my first try, so I don't have to redo this part. And then I found a mini boss, and this was pretty easy. After that boss, I drive around as a car again, which thank God I missed that car bit. But then I failed on my first try because I wanted to save this Waddle Dee. And after a few tries, I got this Waddle Dee. And then I also beat the level, which is cool. 3-3 was scary, but for real, this was really hard because there were some ghosts and there were some parts that were really dark and I needed this light bulb. So it wasn't that bad. But then this game turns into Galaga kinda. But then after some Galaga action, I beat the level. 3-4 was next, and this was dark again, like the last level. But then I lit up the park by pushing this tiny button. But the only part of this level was annoying was the spaceship things. But then I became water, and then this level became a lot easier. But then we have 3-5, which was the next boss. And this boss was, okay, don't look up her name. But this boss was pretty fun, honestly, and hard, which I liked a lot. But then I beat the boss just like that. 4-1 was snowy, and I mean, dude, just look how great this looks. But besides the snowball and the platforms, it was all pretty easy. Then we have 4-2, and this one was pretty cool because it was kind of like a subway. Kirby did eat fresh during this level because it was kind of easy. I'm so sorry for that bad joke. But then we had this raid, which was pretty easy, and then I became a cone, and after that, the level was over. 4-3 was pretty windy. This level was annoying, mainly just because of the wind part of the level. But then I became the wind, and this level became a lot better. Then the wind carried me, and then after that, the level was done. 4-4 was next, and this level was basically a mini boss rush, and I really like levels like this. So the first guy was a sword guy, and this one was pretty easy. But then we had this feathered person, and this was a little bit harder, but I beat the boss anyways. Up next was Bonkers, and this one was easy. But then we have two Mr. Frosties. Oh, come on, man. This level's hard enough already. And then I almost died from them, but thankfully, after that boss, the level was over. But before we get to 4-5, I had to get some more Waddle Dees, which is great. But whatever. I got the stupid Waddle Dees, and now I can get to 4-5. And this was another boss level. And this boss was King Dedede, which was awesome. And this boss was actually pretty hard. And I died for the first time during a boss. But then after my second try, I beat the boss. And thank God the rat is gone. Based Dedede, honestly. Oh, god damn it. We have to save the mouse, do I? Fine. 5-1 was hot and windy, and I had to get some of these sim shards. And this was a really long Waddle Dee to get. But then I became a circle again, and there was these fallen platforms, which were annoying, but then I beat the level. 5-2 was next, and this one was interesting because there was this big guy covered with poison, and I had to clean him up, and this level was easy. Yep, that's all I have to say about this level. It was pretty boring. 5-3 was another mall level, which was pretty cool because there was this dark side and a light side throughout the whole level, which is a pretty cool concept. And then we have Bonkers again, and I beat him with ease, obviously. But then after a little bit, I beat the level. Then we have 5-4, and this was basically just a mouthful level, which means I became different mouthfuls for the entire level. For example, I became a light bulb for a little bit, and then this conveyor belt, and then the glider thing a few times and stuff like that. Then I beat the level, and now we have 5-5, and then we have the one, the only Silly Dillo, and this boss was a blast. From dodging his roll attack to dancing with his other armadillo friends, his girlfriend. He has multiple girlfriends. He's a ladies' man. And after a little bit, I beat this boss, which I kind of feel bad because I really like Silly Dillo. But before we get to the 6th world, I had some very important business to do. Oh no. Look so serious. Please work. Kirby's holding them hostage. And now we are at the very last world, so let's do this. 6-1 was a little hard just because of all the lava and the falling, but overall this level was pretty easy. Then we have 6-2, and this level was basically the same as the first level, but with Mr. Frosty for some reason. But Mr. Frosty was thankfully really easy. But then I became a cone for no reason at all, but whatever. Then I became a circle, and then I had to use this boat to swim across lava, which obviously makes sense. And then I beat the level after that. 6-3 was kind of interesting. There were these crushing wall things, which were a little bit hard, but then let's go! And then after a little bit, there were these spikes, which were kind of scary, but I was a vending machine, so I was fine. But then I learned shapes with Kirby, which thank gosh I did. And then I beat the level after that. 6-4 was another boss rush, except it was the main bosses of the game. Like the first one was the gorilla again, and this one was a lot easier than the first time I battled him. But then I became a race car to get to Silly Dillo, which is obviously my new favorite Kirby character. And this was pretty easy again. But then I became a pipe and I rolled into this Waddle Dee. And now we have the cat person. Yeah, sure, let's just call her that. And this one was, say it with me, very easy. And then I became a roller coaster and beat the level after that. And now we have 6-5, which was pretty interesting to say the least. And right away I got onto this cool elevator and I became almost every single mouthful ability, which was pretty cool. But then after that the level was done just like that. But then we have the very last level, which was 6-6. So let's do it. And at the very end of the hallway was, of course, King Dedede, with a mask this time for some reason. And this boss was pretty easy, but then King Dedede goes on all fours to fight me for some reason, and this almost works for him. And now King Dedede is on our side for some reason, and we have to escape from these enemies. But then a Waddle Dee tripped, and King Dedede, the true Chad that he is, he saved the Waddle Dee and sacrifices himself. Wow, I did not see that coming. But then we are in this elevator, and some voice was talking to us about some sort of creature, and we know why they wanted the Waddle Dees in the first place. But then we have this lion dude, and this guy was honestly pretty hard. I mean, look at this laser. But then I beat him after a few minutes. But then the creature formed with the lion and all the enemies, and now we have this boss, which is extremely creepy. But this boss was hard without copy abilities. I know, I'm finally wishing I had a copy ability, because there were barely any stars, which was kind of annoying. And I had to turn around and spit at him, and there were no good times to do that until he stops. But then I beat him. But then we have one more form to beat, hopefully. And now this guy is hot. Great. And this boss was super annoying because this guy can fly and he can heal, which is obviously awesome. And yeah, this boss was really hard. But then after a few minutes, I finally beat the boss. And just like that, I beat the game. Okay, what the hell is even happening now? And now we become a truck. This game has really come full circle, huh? But then I was riding through these buildings, and then we come face to face with the stupid mouse, and now we come to my favorite part to any Kirby game, which is obviously mashing. But then after a little bit of mashing, I beat God with a semi-truck, which is the best ending to any Kirby game, let's be honest. So yeah, I beat Kirby in the Forgotten Land without copy abilities, and I thought this challenge was gonna be impossible, so I'm glad this challenge is actually possible. And this was actually my first playthrough of this game, which is a very interesting experience. So yeah, I also did the same challenge in Kirby Star Allies if you are interested. And yeah, that's it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!